after so many happy efforts had brought her near him, and to crown her grief, separated from the intrepid companion whom God seemed to have placed in her way to lead her. The image of Michael Strogoff, struck before her eyes with a lance and disappearing beneath the waters of the Irtych, never left her thoughts. Could such a man have died thus? For whom was God reserving his miracles if this good man, whom a noble object was urging onwards, had been allowed to perish so miserably? Then anger would prevail over grief. The scene of the affront so strangely borne by her companion at the Ichim relay returned to her memory. Her blood boiled at the recollection. "Who will avenge him who can no longer avenge himself?" she said. And in her heart she cried, "May it be I!" If before his death Michael had confided his secret to her, woman, aye, girl though she was, she might have been able to carry to a successful conclusion the interrupted task of that brother whom God had so soon taken from her. Absorbed in these thoughts, it can be understood how Nadia could remain insensible to the miseries even of her captivity. Thus chance had united her to Marfa Strogoff without her having the least suspicion of who she was. How could she imagine that this old woman, a prisoner like herself, was the mother of him whom she only knew as the merchant Nicholas Korpanoff? And, on the other hand, how could Marfa guess that a bond of gratitude connected this young stranger with her son? The thing that first struck Nadia in Marfa Strogoff was the similarity in the way in which each bore her hard fate. This stoicism of the old woman under the daily hardships, this contempt of bodily suffering, could only be caused by a moral grief equal to her own. So Nadia thought, and she was not mistaken. It was an instinctive sympathy for that part of her misery which Marfa did not show which first drew Nadia towards her. This way of bearing her sorrow went to the proud heart of the young girl. She did not offer her services, she gave them. Marfa had neither to refuse nor accept them. In the difficult parts of the journey the girl was there to support her. When the provisions were given out, the old woman would not have moved, but Nadia shared her small portion with her, and thus this painful journey was performed. Thanks to her companion, Marfa was able to follow the soldiers who guarded the prisoners without being fastened to a saddle bow, as were many other unfortunate wretches, and thus dragged along this road of sorrow. "May God reward you, my daughter, for what you have done for my old age," said Marfa Strogoff once, and for some time these were the only words exchanged between the two unfortunate beings. During these few days, which to them appeared like centuries, it would seem that the old woman and the girl would have been led to speak of their situation. But Marfa Strogoff, from a caution which may be easily understood, never spoke about herself except with the greatest brevity. She never made the smallest allusion to her son, nor to the unfortunate meeting. Nadia also, if not completely silent, spoke little. However, one day her heart overflowed, and she told all the events which had occurred from her departure from Wladimir to the death of Nicholas Korpanoff. All that her young companion told intensely interested the old Siberian. "Nicholas Korpanoff!" said she. "Tell me again about this Nicholas. I know only one man, one alone, in whom such conduct would not have astonished me. Nicholas Korpanoff! Was that really his name? Are you sure of it, my daughter?" "Why should he have deceived me in this," replied Nadia, "when he deceived me in no other way?" Moved, however, by a kind of presentiment, Marfa Strogoff put questions upon questions to Nadia. "You told me he was fearless, my daughter. You have proved that he has been so?" asked she. "Yes, fearless indeed," replied Nadia. "It was just what my son would have done," said Marfa to herself. Then she resumed. "Did you not say that nothing stopped him, nor astonished him? That he was so gentle in his strength that you had a sister as well as a brother in him? And he watched over you like a mother?" "Yes, yes," said Nadia. "Brother, sister, mother, he has been all to me." "And defended you like a lion?" "A lion indeed," replied Nadia. "A lion, a hero." "My son, my son!" thought the old Siberian. "But you said, however, that he bore a terrible insult at that post house in Ichim?" "He did bear it," answered Nadia, looking down. "He bore it?" murmured Marfa, shuddering. "Mother, mother," cried Nadia, "do not blame him. He had a secret of which God alone is as yet the judge." "And," said Marfa, raising her head, and looking at Nadia as though she would read the depths of her heart, "in that hour of humiliation, did you not despise this Nicholas Korpanoff?" "I admired him without understanding him," replied the girl. "I never felt him more worthy of respect." The old woman was silent for a minute. "Was he tall?" she asked. "Very tall." "And very handsome? Come, speak, my daughter." "He was very handsome," replied Nadia, blushing. "It was my son! I tell you it was my son!" exclaimed the old woman, embracing Nadia. "Your son?" said Nadia, amazed. "Your son?" "Come," said Marfa, "let us get to the bottom of this, my child. Your companion, your friend, your protector had a mother. Did he never speak to you of his mother?" "Of his mother?" said Nadia. "He spoke to me of his mother as I spoke to him of my father. Often, always. He adored her." "Nadia, Nadia, you have just told me about my own son," said the old woman, and she added impetuously, "Was he not going to see this mother, whom you say he loved, in Omsk?" "No," answered Nadia, "no, he was not." "Not?" cried Marfa. "You dare to tell me not?" "I say so, but it remains to me to tell you that from motives which outweighed everything else, motives which I do not know, I understand that Nicholas Korpanoff had to traverse the country completely in secret. To him it was a question of life and death, and still more, a question of duty and honor." "Duty, indeed, imperious duty," said the old Siberian, "of those who sacrifice everything, even the joy of giving a kiss, perhaps the last, to his old mother. All that you do not know, Nadia, all that I did not know myself, I now know. You have made me understand everything. But the light which you have thrown on the mysteries of my heart, I cannot return on yours. Since my son has not told you his secret, I must keep it. Forgive me, Nadia, I can never repay what you have done for me." "Mother, I ask you nothing," replied Nadia. All was thus explained to the old Siberian, all, even the conduct of her son with regard to herself in the inn at Omsk. There was no doubt that the young girl's companion was Michael Strogoff, and that a secret mission in the invaded country obliged him to conceal his quality of the Czar's courier. "Ah, my brave boy!" thought Marfa. "No, I will not betray you, and tortures shall not wrest from me the avowal that it was you that I saw at Omsk." Marfa could with a word have paid Nadia for all her devotion to her. She could have told her that her companion, Nicholas Korpanoff, or rather Michael Strogoff, had not perished in the waters of the Irtych, since it was some days after that incident that she had met him, that she had spoken to him. But she restrained herself, she was silent, and contented herself with saying, "Hope, my child! Misfortune will not overwhelm you. You will see your father again, I feel it, and perhaps he who gave you the name of sister is not dead. God cannot have allowed your brave companion to perish. Hope, my child, hope! Do as I do. The mourning which I wear is not yet for my son." End of Book 2, Chapter 2.